Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name's Christina. So I'm going to be doing my first wrap up for 2023. I'm low-key excited for it because I feel like I wrote enough notes down to help me get through each book that I want to share with you guys that I read in the month of January. So if you're excited or interested to know what I read in January, then we're going to go ahead and jump into the wrap up. Also, I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the fact that I have a huge glare on my glasses. I was trying to find a perfect spot in front of my desk to place my camera, but no matter which way I set the camera, the glare from the natural lighting from the window is just going to reflect off my glasses. And also because my glasses are so thick, it's very reflective. So I apologize for that if that annoys you. It annoys me whenever I edit the videos and see a huge ass glare on my glasses, but I can't help that. My eyesight sucks and my glasses are so thick that it reflects perfectly. Everything reflects perfectly off of my glasses. So yeah, without all that rambling, we're gonna go ahead and just jump into the wrap up. So let's get going. So I read a total of 5 books in January. So I read A Touch of Ruin and A Touch of Malice by Scarlett St. Clair, and we're following, so this is book 2 and 3. There's another one that's coming out, I think sometime this year, I believe. I don't remember, but I know there's a 4th book in this specific series. I know like there's, I think 2 sagas, like a Hades saga. So, and I think, I don't know if that's before this time or after this series. I don't really know, but I know this specific series is getting another book, and I can't wait to read that one as well, even though I kind of don't have high hopes as far as like any action, as far as like war, blood and guts type of action, but we probably will get a lot of smut because book 1 and 2, which again is A Touch of Ruin and A Touch of Malice, we're following Hades and Persephone, and they're continuing to grow their relationship, their love for one another, also while keeping Persephone's secret, which she is a goddess to everyone. She's a mortal who has fallen in love with a god, and a god who has fallen in love with a mortal. So not everyone knows that she's actually the goddess, and happens to be the goddess of spring. And the reason why they keep this a secret is because once they know that everybody knows that she's a goddess, it's just only going to further put a target on her back when she already has a target on her back, being Hades' lover. And also Persephone and Hades are having a lot of battle with Demeter, who is the mother of Persephone. Demeter has it in her mind that she's gonna do all she possibly can do and destroy the relationship between Hades and Persephone. And if that is making Hades to be the bad guy, or for Demeter to be the bad guy, that's exactly what she's gonna do. And she's gonna pull every string possible to make sure that her daughter and Hades are no longer together. So still ended up rating each book a 4 out of 5 stars. So moving on to the next book that I read. The next book was also, well, the next book happened to be a reread for me, and that was Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. And then this one, this is following Evangeline, and she becomes heartbroken when she discovers that her one true love is to be married, and she also believes that there is no way that he would go off and marry and hurt her in this way. She also feels that there might have been a potential curse put on him because she doesn't feel like he would do her this way. So what she ends up doing is she seeks out a fate, and the fate that she seeks out is the Prince of Heart. She is gonna make a deal with him to try and save her one true love from marrying someone else, but everybody knows that you don't make a deal with the fate without to give something back in return. So I loved this one so much. So we do follow the Prince of Hearts, who is Jack, and if you've read the Caraval series from Stephanie Garber, you'll see a little bit of him in those stories. And now we're getting more of him in this one, which I absolutely loved. I love Evangeline and Jack's banter in this book. I rated this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I honestly feel like this book, I don't want to say it's better than Caraval because I loved Caraval. I didn't love the second and third book in that trilogy, so I'm hoping whenever I read the second and third book in this trilogy, it'll continue to be good. But either way, I enjoyed it. I loved the magic system. I loved the banter between the two main characters. But yes, that was another awesome read that I read for the month of January. Moving along, I read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. So I read this book with my friends, the club. I don't know what, I lost my train of thought for a second. And this one was a psychological thriller. I had such a good time reading this book. We follow the main character, Millie, who hasn't had the best luck keeping a job after getting out of prison, and she's pretty down on her luck until she gets the perfect job working for the Winchesters as their housemaid. On her first day on the job, she soon starts to realize that there's something a little off about Nina, who is the wife, and this is where Millie decides that she either is stuck dealing with Nina, putting up with all her craziness, or quitting the job. But as she decides to stay, she soon realizes that there are deeper secrets of the Winchesters. Honestly, I did not expect the book to turn out the way it did. It was such an amazing ride reading this story, and one, you think that something, I guess I can honestly say I wasn't expecting the ending to happen the way it did. And I mean, it puts you at a standstill of believing this person or the other, and then only to find out the whole entire truth at the end. So I did really enjoy this story so much. It's making me want to pick up more books from this author. And I also rated this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Honestly, this is more of like a 4.8. It's very high rated for me, but also like on Goodreads you can't do a point anything, so this was almost a 5-star for me, not gonna lie. But it's a high 4-star. If you want to read this book, I highly suggest you do read this book, but I will say you need to look into some triggers because there are definitely some trigger warnings. The ones that I can tell you that I remember is child endangerment, talks of suicide, and abuse. So those are the ones that I can for sure remember, that I know will probably trigger some people. So be aware of that. But nonetheless, this was a good read. I'm glad I picked it up. And again, like, this is another book that I want to, or another author I want to pick up more from in the future, just to see their other work. So this one was a good read. The other book that I picked up for the month of January is King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. This one we're following Isolde and Adrian. Isolde was taught that vampires were the cause of the downfall of their world until one day her father, the king, decides to bend the knee to Adrian, the vampire king, in order to keep his people safe. But the only way Adrian will agree to these terms is if the human king allows him to marry his daughter. So once Isolde and Adrian are married, Isolde starts to learn that everything that she was taught about the vampire is not entirely true. So she is also stuck with having to open up her feelings to this vampire king who she's grown up knowing to be a monster, or listen to her father and do what her people expect her to do, and that is to kill the vampire king. So I rated this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I actually enjoyed this one a whole lot more than I enjoyed the Hades and Persephone retelling. This one definitely had smut in it because Scarlett St. Clair is literally the queen of smut. But the difference with this one is that everything that I wanted from the Hades and Persephone I got in this one. So like I said, even though we got the smut, we also got a lot of like blood and guts and curses, and just, it was so much more in this one that I wanted in the other Scarlett St. Clair reads. So I was super excited about that, and it was really good. I can't wait to jump into the second one to continue to see what Easel decides to do and just how their journey continues and what's gonna happen after it all. So definitely recommend this one if you're looking into reading a book by Scarlett St. Clair. I would probably suggest this one first, because even though it is smutty, there is a good balance of smut and war. So the last book I read for the month of January is A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole, and in this story we're following Rune and Poppy. At the young age of 5, Rune moves next door to Poppy and they become best friends. And then one day when they're 8 years old, Poppy loses someone very, very special to herself, someone that she is super close to and someone that is very near and dear to her heart. But before they pass away, they give her a new adventure, because Poppy is a person who loves adventure. And the new adventure is that she goes out and experiences 1,000 boy kisses, but not just any boy kisses, ones that'll make your heart absolutely burst out of your chest. So Poppy makes this her mission and to keep her promise to the person that has given her this new adventure to successfully gain 1,000 boy kisses. So this story, I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars. This book did everything I've been wanting by completely emotionally destroying me. I could not stop crying. So I finally got what I asked for, and that was to read a book that would emotionally wreck me. I cried so hard that my eyes were so puffy and I went to bed with a huge headache. It was so emotional, and like I said, it did everything I needed it to, and I was happy and satisfied by the ending because I was so wrecked. So this book so far is probably my favorite book so far of 2023. It was so good and super emotional. I loved it so much. If you are looking for a book that is going to wreck you completely and you want that cry, I definitely highly suggest 1,000 Boy Kisses, but also look into triggers because you do deal with grief in this story. I am satisfied. So that is it for this wrap up. Those are all the books that I read in January. Hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully I did a good job with describing these books, and if you do decide to pick them up, let me know what your thoughts are. If you pick them up and read them, I would like to know your thoughts. Or if you've already read them and you want somebody to talk to about them, chat with me down below in the comments. But yeah, that is it for this wrap up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.